Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I-Man here from the Block Runner, MetaZone, and Rovi. And turns out the Metaverse is a failure.
It's dead, isn't it?
Yeah, what do you think about that, dude? Everyone's shitting on the Metaverse these days. How does that make you feel?
To be expected, I guess. I don't know.
Really?
I think we're used to that, dude.
Like the sentiment is just...
Well, I mean, it's a bear market, right? I mean, they're not just shitting on the... Okay,
Yeah,
the
they
Metaverse isn't easy. Well, you don't think people are shitting on, like, NFTs and crypto and DeFi right now? Like, the public.
Shitting on DeFi? No.
No?
No.
Well, the public probably doesn't even know DeFi exists, to be
Exactly,
honest.
yeah. There's
NFTs,
nothing to shit on because nobody understands it.
Yeah. DeFi is more like an internal... You're a crypto head.
Shitting on NFTs for sure. That's
NFTs,
happening.
so.
Yeah.
These are the public-facing products of Web3, right?
Mhm.
NFTs, Metaverse, whatever. This is the stuff that the mass consumer understands. They
Yeah.
see it. It's visual,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's relative. It's like, these look like, collectible things. I've been collecting things my whole life, right?
Yeah.
These look like video game worlds. I've been playing video games my whole life.
Yeah.
Let's see what this blockchain thing's all about, dude. It's Web3 gaming stuff and the Metaverse. And then they hop in and try it out.
Not only just blockchain, but it's Web 2 metaverses as well from Facebook, and they're shitting on that too.
Well, okay, you talking about like Horizon?
Oh yeah, the general idea of the metaverse is being shat on.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
So what do we do about it? What are we supposed to do?
Well, let's talk about like what's the misunderstanding? Right.
Well, misunderstanding. Well, for one, definitely the game thing, just because on face value, it looks like the Metaverse is some sort of like attempt at, I don't know, providing some sort of extension to like the gaming experience that people are used to.
Yeah.
So by that understanding and logic, it's like, they're expecting this like way more fun game-like experience when you jump into any virtual world that's considered part of the Metaverse.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, definitely games is going to be a component of the Metaverse, but it's not like the whole thing.
And
who
is the Metaverse for? And there's stages to this too.
Well, it's for everybody,
right?
Just like the internet's for everybody.
You think you're gonna see your dad in the Metaverse?
It depends, dude. Like if if they like put on like a real nice Selena concert one day, he might actually like hop in. His favorite little bands, bandas, or whatever you call them. That's something, and that's one of the main initiatives, right? That a lot of these companies are going after, like as far as the demographic, they're going after that idea.
Yeah, they're selling experiences where the experience is just like the consumption.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like an active, like your dad's not going to don a headset to go mine some meteors, right?
Oh, not. Definitely not. Not my dad, no.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to do that, because he literally mines meteors like all day long at work, Maybe not meteors, but like coal and shit, he's a railroad guy.
Yeah.
He's got a very...
This is mining-esque type of daily activity.
It's a grind, dude.
Yeah.
And he's been doing that his whole life. So it's all he knows. So he's not looking for some sort of like
additional virtual grind.
No, fuck no, dude.
Yeah.
But
the thing is, most Westerners are not looking for a virtual grind.
No. Because again, our life is the grind.
Yeah.
Right? It's why the developed economies exist on the planet, right? Because we figured out these whole incentive models to get people to work, dedicate their entire, like pretty much their like years of peak existence to just grinding and working and servicing the economy.
Yeah.
So, of course, when you have a little inch of time, like for yourself, self leisure, the last thing you want to do is like think of yourself as like, how can I further monetize myself? Like, most people don't think like that. Most people are like, dude, how do I like relax?
Yeah.
Decompress.
Yeah.
Unplug from the bullshit that was my day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then they come in, it's like, the Metaverse will do that.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not. So people are a little pissed off, I guess. Like, how do you expect them to react?
Yeah. Yeah, so we're looking at an article from Forbes. It was just posted today, not too long ago. And the first line says, the Metaverse is a failure. Games are stupid. Tried Decentraland, another easy target to shat on, right? tokens that he stupidly owns, he says.
Wow.
Right? And then he basically goes into details like all the things you can't do, and he can't really see an offering of an upgraded experience of any of this sort of stuff. And so we're seeing a lot of articles coming out like this, and I'm trying to, I don't know, get a gauge as to, all this, I was reading part of this article. They illustrate that over 2021, like $177 billion was invested into like the whole metaverse concept in 2021. $177 billion.
Like from like VCs and stuff like that?
The whole gamut from like the hardware to the application layer, like the whole thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So clearly there's like a gearing up for something, right? There's an understanding among institutional investors and big tech companies. Like this is definitely a frontier worth investing in, right? That's what that tells me.
That's what they're doing, right? And so what's interesting is that we have these huge investments. And for example, for those with patience, JP Morgan analysts estimate that some $54 billion is spent annually on virtual goods. And McKinsey & Company says that the metaverse has the potential to generate $5 trillion in value by 2030. So basically in 8 years, we're going to see volumes of $5 trillion.
Wow.
And so what's interesting to me, there's two groups of people,
100x,
right?
Yeah, 100x.
There's people who think of the metaverse, the consumer side, and then we have the investor side, the guys who are bullish, and they're not aligning.
Well, no, it's just it's just one of these things. What point in time are you in the growth cycle of it?
Yeah, and in order to have $5 trillion in volume, who do you need adoption with?
Everybody,
right?
Yeah, just about. That's
right.
That's a big number.
Yes.
So you're expecting the majority of humanity to be like on this ecosystem or in this ecosystem one way or another.
Yeah.
Be contributing time, which equals value, right?
Right.
Or contributing something to the very complexities of the metaverse, which for whatever reason we all know they will exist, but like actually putting your finger on what these things need to be is the hard part. But it's not something you could just like plan out. Like I see everything. I know exactly what's going to be the metaverse.
Yeah, it was kind of like trying to ask somebody, what is the internet going to be like in the 90s? Like,
yeah, you would have never been able to predict like Netflix and Amazon and eBay, Facebook. You wouldn't have been able to predict that. If you did, you're fucking God, basically.
Yeah.
So nobody can predict how the individual useful utilities of the metaverse will be to like the human.
So what do you think is in the minds of these like JP Morgan analysts, Citigroup, Grayscale? What is in their minds that they can clearly see a path to like $1 trillion volumes in value, and everyone else mostly cannot? Like what is it that is happening that enables this possibility? Like what's happening within the world? Are they recognizing that there's roughly 2 billion people not participating in the larger global ecosystem, and they see the metaverse tapping into that untapped resource?
I think that's definitely part of it.
So
I think all of those are considerations for sure. Like if you're doing like a deep analysis to try and come up with some sort of projective model, like you have to consider everything you just outlined, right?
So basically they're taking a look at what happened with Axie Infinity, and they'll be like, okay.
Well, I don't know, to be honest. I don't know.
I mean, as a path, as like a logical path, they have to be looking at Axie Infinity and be like, that supported an entire country.
That's what we look at. I don't know if these big institutional investors are looking at the metaverse from like a Web3 enabled
probably not
standpoint.
But if it's not that, then what is it?
Well, that's why they reference the amount of money that's being spent now on virtual goods.
Oh, I see. Yeah. But how does that translate to 100x? I don't see the logic progression there.
They're just anticipating a much increase in demand for virtual goods, essentially, right? It's not going to just be gaming goods. It's going to be all goods.
Just all people are just spending more on virtual goods just because they end up discovering that, hey, this is pretty cool. I'm just going to buy this virtual shirt.
Yeah, I think it's the realization that obviously we've already have a metaverse type of experience with gaming, right?
Yeah.
People are able to immerse themselves as much as you want into like a virtual environment. And but that's not like applicable to all demographics of humanity, right? That's the thing. The metaverse has the potential to do that. Like you literally target everybody as a potential user, a customer. Like gaming doesn't have that flexibility, right? It's directed at a very specific niche demographic. It's usually like, kids.
First person shooters, people who like people who like RPGs. It's very narrow, in other words.
Well, yeah, games. Yeah, it's just for, usually like an age bracket of like, childhood till about like,
so it's not
26 or something.
Well, it's 30. I think the majority of gamers like in their 30s, right? Isn't that like?
Yeah, of course they're still gaming. But my point is
it's not kids.
The goods of the virtual space are only good for gamers at the moment, right? So extrapolate, like, now if everybody's a participant in the virtual world, it's not necessarily a game experience. It could just be whatever it is that builds your online social identity, right?
I can see that.
Yeah, if you have the ability now to immerse yourself into a virtual space that's not connected to like a game. It's like, I'm not interested in games, but I still want to be present virtually with my friends. I want to, show off my digital Gucci bags and stuff like that, just like we do in real life, establish some sort of status hierarchy within the virtual society, right?
This is just an evolution of social media then, like a social communication platform except in 3D.
Of course, yeah. That's part of it. Okay. Yeah, it expands our ability to socialize and have like more than just, text on screen.
Yeah,
that's a very limited like communication interface.
That might be the leap. That might be the logic jump that they're making. Is like we spend all the time just in text, right? Essentially, right? Facebook, Twitter, it's all text.
Yeah, pretty much.
YouTube video, but it's
like
still limited.
Those little video things are just now starting to pop off, right? Like Snapchat, TikTok. Like these are relatively new,
but it's not real time communication.
It's not.
Right?
You just kind of like put out like a freaking message in a bottle, essentially.
And people are individually opening it up and just
and if they like it, they'll like it. But that's even that, as addictive and as ubiquitous as it is right now, that's still shit.
Okay.
As far as like a real intimate social landscape.
Sure.
So the metaverse is gonna destroy that.
So, 100%. Yeah, so it's basically all that except real time.
Yeah,
and in the moment.
Yeah, I think that's what they're realizing, and that's what they're building all these projections on, because that has way more tremendous applicability than gaming does, like more reach. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that is something that every single human on Earth will participate in.
Yeah,
that's why Facebook is all in on this, because they already have the whole world by the balls. Yeah, you know what I mean. So why not just force them to like socialize this way?
Yeah,
because they're gonna build all the tech for it. They're gonna build all the
and people will like it. They won't even know that they want it, but they're gonna want it
because they're gonna realize, dude, this is way better than sending them a Facebook message.
Yeah,
like what's that stupid little lightning bolt messenger app? Whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
That's lame.
Yeah.
Emojis. Why do we need emojis if we have like avatars that capture our actual facial expressions and stuff like that?
Yeah.
No need for that crap anymore, dude. I mean, emojis will still be cool. You can like pop them up whenever you want. Like, dude.
So
it's just we know if you know, you know. If you don't, you'll know at some point. You know what I mean?
You will know.
You will know. You have to know. It's just it's inevitable. There's too much money. Too many chips are being shifted in this direction.
Yeah.
And there's just too many like technologies converging at the perfect time to enable all of this.
Sure.
It's just, I don't know, dude.
I can see that. So it's primarily a social focused experience. It's basically a social media in 3D.
Well, yeah, I think that's
like one of the main use cases.
For sure. I mean, there's going to be tons more, but that's I think one of the more obvious ones, and one of the ones that expands the potential and the demand for virtual goods beyond just gaming.
Yeah.
So that's where, like, these institutional guys are probably like, damn, dude, imagine when everyone's like in virtual worlds and everybody wants skins, everybody wants like,
virtual items.
Yeah, they want
flexing tools.
And they're looking at kids, dude. If anybody has kids, it's like they prefer digital products over physical ones. Because they spend most of their time thinking and consuming the digital, right? So it's like they value it more. So you could build very robust and very powerful economies based on that.
Yeah.
Shit. So.
Yeah, and so the metaverse being such a broad scope of like activities, I think there's a bigger value proposition for people who are not in the West,
Oh well, yeah. Well, there's less need for resistance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From somebody who doesn't have all the luxuries of modern living.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the opportunities of such.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you're not gonna go into Decentraland and like get a little ticked off that doesn't look as good as Second Life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As long as there's some sort of opportunity for you to extract value, I'm in. I'm locked in all day, every day. Right. So that's why I think that's the easier pathway to adoption, I think, from the metaverse industry, right? As opposed to convincing people who are addicted
to like Call of Duty.
And like it's like asking them to just, dude, stop doing heroin. How about you drink some coffee instead? Yeah. Like, no, dude, I like this heroin stuff. It's fucking great. Like that's what video games is, you know?
Yeah.
You're trying to convince a whole generation of people to stop doing what they're addicted to.
Yeah.
You know,
but the same gamers are also on TikTok, social media. I mean, all kinds of stuff, right? So even they will also be part of the metaverse just because it's just way better, right? And in forms of real-time communication.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we know the power of communities and like influencers and their, you know, all that shit and cults that emerge within tribalism on the internet. The metaverse is going to be the perfect landscape to like and amplify those types of activities. Like, you know, Mr. Beast, you know, without a doubt, within the next 5 years, he's going to have his own metaverse something. And he's going to have, I mean, he spends all his time doing crazy shit in the real world. Imagine the money, if he put it into like a metaverse event, like what he could create. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. For his community.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it would be off the charts, dude. Like a couple $1 million. He's got like the coolest fucking, he could build like the biggest, what do they call those little ball pits? Like when you jump in.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I think he did try to do that, but like you can actually build one that's like infinity large. Yeah. In the metaverse, like everyone just jumps in. It's like stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Once these influencers start to realize, but that's why they're not, because that's not even possible today.
Yeah, it's not. But it will be. We've seen technology that could enable things like that.
We have, but like to that scale, no. Like the existing metaverse infrastructure and frameworks cannot let that enable that. So that's why nobody's gonna walk in and be like mind blown by this stuff.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna like visit a metaverse and all of a sudden understands like this is gonna turn into trillions.
It's not gonna click until the infrastructure improves. So this is just an indicator of how early we are. It's the same thing as like 2011, 2013 cryptocurrencies. Nobody saw any real value from this until like, you know, smart contracts came about, decentralized applications, financial instruments, all these things started to emerge. Like, holy shit, this is quite the ecosystem here. It's like there's a lot of value here.
For sure. I mean? Yeah, there's going to be a lot of industries or sectors in this particular metaverse industry that will be having its own like manias, right? There's going to be like a social aspect mania, right? Everybody's going to be donning their virtual clothes. There's going to be like ecosystem manias where people will have financial opportunity in the metaverse to participate, both for those who own the assets and those who just want to participate and earn assets. Mm-hmm. It's going to be all there, but there's no infrastructure for that just yet.
Yeah, it's very basic. So, so like this headline says, it's not a failure. It's just it's slow progress.
Yeah,
you know, it's how it is, man. But as long as we all have like a semblance of a vision, like, you know, that for sure this is going to be way more engaging and useful than what the internet is today. Like then we just have to go for it. You know?
Yeah, and the biggest takeaway is when we're looking at, $100 billion investment in a particular industry, and then you see that group of people making that sort of bet, and then you see a different group of people, the consumers essentially just shitting all over it. Mm-hmm. Like there should be some, you got to pause and like try to understand why would anyone spend hundreds of billions of dollars in an industry where so many people are just shitting on it. There has to be some sort of like, I don't know, process of understanding that some people, because I remember in 2013, like people were talking about Bitcoin as if it was like, useless. Like this is valueless.
Yeah.
And like they were wrong.
They were.
And that's what we're seeing with Metaverse.
So these people are wrong right now.
Right. They're wrong. Yeah.
All right. That's the title, dude. You're all wrong.
Yeah. You're all wrong,
You're all
about,
wrong
the
about the Metaverse, dude. That's what's up.
That's it. And if you guys disagree, let us know in the comment section below. Follow us on Twitter at The Block Runner, at Meadowzone.io, and at RoviAI. And until the next video.
Peace.